Alalahanin, gunitain kahapon natin sariwain ng kay lumanay agos ng buhay alalahanin kunitain ng batis lamang ang tumatangis at ang pag-ibig anong tamis alalahanin gunitain kahapon natin sariwain.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a restful Saturday morning. Thank you so much for joining us in the book launch of Alalahanin, Our Memories of Dulaang Sibol. I am Missy Maramara, Dulaang Sibol Batch 98, and currently the Dulaang Sibol moderator. With me this morning are three very special guests. Book editor Bong Alikpala from Batch 1984 of Dulaang Sibol. Hi, Bong. Book designer Ali Figueroa from Dulaang Sibol Batch 1994, and also my fellow Dulaang Sibol moderator. And the lovely Miss Meng De Guia, who has been teaching in Ateneo High School for the past 35 years and has been a staple Sibol audience member from when she was 12 years old. Hi, Miss Meng.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, in Sibol, we always start with a prayer. And this very special morning, our prayer will be led by Miss Meng.
Let us all begin with the sign of our salvation in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. O Spirit of God, we ask you to help orient all our actions by your inspirations and carry them on by your gracious assistance, that every prayer and work of ours may always begin from you and through you be happily ended. Bless this launch, bless Sir Pagsy and his family, bless all those who made this book and event happen, and bless all those who will benefit from this project. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
So much, Miss Meng. Indeed, this is a very, very special book, which was launched privately among Sibolistas last August 22. And today is the public launch, and we're so very excited to share it with everybody. Bong, why don't you tell us a little bit about this lovely book?
Thank you. We want to thank everyone who has already bought a copy of the book. And we've had a private launch on August 22 for Sibolistas. But now we would like to introduce the book to a wider audience. And that's you, our dear listeners, because we want to convince you to buy the book at the end of this program. Thank you very much. We also wish to acknowledge our inspiration for this book, who's listening this morning, Mr. Onofre Pagsanghan, the legendary Sibol moderator, director, theater artist, and our second father. Hi, Mr. Pagsy. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Pagsy. We know that you're watching and listening. Thank you, and this is all for you.
In the next hour, we have prepared a program that is very much like a Sibol production. There will be musical numbers, a comedy skit, reading of excerpts from the book, and a special number from a renowned Sibolista's final performance. Bong and Ali, why don't you tell us a little bit about this book?
Yeah. Well, Ali and I were two of the editors of the book. We were part of a group called Bookends, and we decided to put together this project, taking off from the work of a lot of people in the past. No? But siguro before we go into the book, because we are talking to a general audience who might not know what Dulang Sibol is, you know. So siguro we'll start siguro muna from that, no, and siguro I'll ask Ali to give a
Ano
brief
nga ba ang
explanation.
Dulaang Sibol, di
Di ba,
ba?
Ali? Oh,
So
ito
since this
yung
is a book,
moderator. Eh.
written by the alumni of their wonderful experiences in the organization, Ali will tell us a little bit now about the very organization that this book talks about.
Well, recently, no, there's been parang a catchphrase to describe Sibol which has gained popularity. It's really Dulang Sibol is a Christian community that uses theater and music as its apostolates. No? I think that's become popular because it captures, no, what Dulang Sibol has been, no, for at least the past 45 years, no. For the past 45 years, ever since the theater was built on the Ateneo de Manila Junior High School campus, parang Sibol really has transformed, no, into really a very small, a very close community, a prayerful community, a Christ-centered community, and theater has become the instrument for that community's work, no, in the Ateneo community and outside. Although we do have this very, very illustrious history of theater, as is seen in the book, no, I think as Mr. Pagsi grew, as Sibol grew, no, in wisdom and in years, there's this very, very conscious, I think, stripping away of what is less important and clinging to what is more important. So I think part of the story of the book is that, no, of how Sibol in a way found its legs, how each of us sort of found our way in Sibol. It's not a perfectly clear or smooth story. It's not always a happy haha story, you know. But I think there is something there for people who are outside who may be interested in seeing how a community has grown across grabe 65 years, no? 65 years since the first
Wow.
play in 1955.
And Ali, you're actually right now, your background is right outside the Dulaang Sibol Onofre Pagsanghan Theater.
Well, it's very near there, no? So this is EDSA Hook in high school. Well, yun nga. I like using photos from Ateneo because I miss the campus so much, no? But I guess it's also a reminder of where we all came from. I mean, even you, Missy, di ba? Kahit taga-Miriam ka, lagi ka naman namin kasama dito noong unang panahon. Well,
You know, you were saying that Sibol is 65 years old, right? And
well,
this year,
yes.
and Miss Meng, who has been in the Ateneo High School for 35 years now, doesn't look it, ma'am.
Except for the white hair.
You've been watching Sibol since you were 12.
12, yeah.
How has it been over the years? How has it
Well,
evolved?
yeah, it has evolved. I've seen all the changes. I've met the old actors in person, and some their kids became my students, and then my students became the moderators of Sibol after Mr. Paz. I've seen everything since I'm 54 now, so that's 42 years.
There's really such a rich history there, and
Yes, yes.
now this book captures some of that history, no? So
Yeah.
you were saying that Jojo Mendoza and Kick Samson started this in
Yeah.
2006.
Yes. Um, yeah, I just wanted to before I just go into the book, siguro just a little sharing of our time in Sibol too, no. And I also just wanted to echo what um, Meng and Ali have already said, that long and glorious history of Sibol. We're talking about more than 6 decades of Sibol, and I'm I'm 54 now, no, and I'm talking about experiences that I lived through back when I was 16, 17, 18, and the power of those experiences uh, have stayed with me, has stayed with me for so many decades, and it's really the reason why I felt compelled to be able to capture all of this in a book, is to be able to share these experiences with a new generation and to a much larger audience, and to protect the legacy of Sibol and to make sure that Sibol will be known by future generations. And so we get to this book, no, that we're launching today. Alalahanin actually started back in 2006 when Dr. Jojo Mendoza and Kik Samson gathered essays for Sibol's 50th anniversary then. These essays were wonderful. I got to read them, and they were written by such notables as Jimmy Ofilenia, Ariosto Reyes, Noel Trinidad, um, Dr. Fernando Ofilenia, Manuling Francisco, and many other names so, that are familiar and dear to Ateneans. And we thought that they should form a volume for people to be able to read and share and cherish. That project took a long time to complete, but finally, now, 2020, the year of the pandemic, we came out with a book. And we'd like to thank so many people who have been instrumental in putting the book together. Um, Ali Figueroa, of course, who designed the book. Eric Lirios, who edited the volume with me. Tito Lopez, Manolo Ocampo, John Neri, Jejo Jimenez, Von Totanes, and other members of the Bookends group, no, Gabi Malvar, who have helped us produce this whole book. And of course, not to mention the actual authors who actually cut a piece of their soul and placed it in this book. Authors like Ozi Puroganan, whom you will hear later on read an excerpt from his book. And so we'd like to thank also the people who have helped us produce the launch, Jescom and Justin Pontino, and the other Ateneo administrators who've helped us pull this off. Father Salty de la Rama, Manuling Francisco, and the other administration and security officers who helped us with our August 22 launch. So, yun, that is a segue to the most important part, which is our thanks to the inspiration of the project, Mr. Onofre Pagsangan, Mr. Pagsi. Without you, this would have been nothing. And without you, none of us, I think, would be here. I mean, you've changed all of our lives. And I think that people have said that eloquently in so many ways. People are coming together to greet you for your 93rd birthday, wishing you 94th and 95th birthdays to come. And we hope that you continue to share the grace of your, inimitable character and your wonderful teacher self with more people. And through this book, we hope to carry out your legacy for many years to come.
Alalahanin, of course, was a Sibolista's birthday gift to Sir Pagsy on his 93rd birthday last June. And when he received this special copy, he gave a short video in response. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Pagsy.
Go.
Hi, good afternoon. You're looking at a very happy rich man, in his little house, in this wonderful pool that's part of the house, and this wonderful book. And I'm being asked to say a brief thank you for Alalahanin, Gunitain, and I cannot say a small thank you because I'm overwhelmed. I'm just a high school teacher and yet I'm very rich. I am here wanting nothing except being with God, no? But actually, this is being with God too. For a high school teacher to enjoy so much this beautiful pool, this wonderful book, these wonderful people. So how do I say thank you for so much? How do I say thank you for so much? Sometimes we appreciate and enjoy the gift without looking back at the giver of the gift. So, thank you, dear God. You've given me so much joy, so much happiness that money cannot buy. So, thank you, dear God.
beautiful special guitar was performed by Sibol legends playing from the Philippines, the United States, and Canada. Thank you so much, Jerry Duran, Jella Favis, Jing Olaguer, and Igo Gonzalez.
For the next part of our program, we have invited select authors from the essays of Alalahanin to read excerpts from their book. One of these authors is Dr. Ozzy Puruganan. He was the Secretary-Treasurer of Sibol Batch 82. Nag-abot kami sa Sibol nito, si Ozzy. And his essay is the first one in Alalahanin. It's entitled A Theater Forever Young. Ozzy is in a sense also forever young as he works with children as a developmental pediatrician in New York City.
Kahapon natin sariwain.
It was the month of May, and the school year had just ended. Most of the students had gone on to enjoy their vacations, and the high school was largely empty. But at the farthest corner of the campus, by the soccer fields, a band of teenagers gathered, choosing to spend their precious summers in a small theater called Dulaang Sibol. I was one of those teenagers in the early 80s. I have vivid recollections of those summers. After a short course on the essentials of theater with Mr. Pagsy, we split ourselves into groups and tried our hand at writing, performing, and directing our own plays. I'm sure most of the productions were amateurish. We were a high school drama group after all, but they were undeniably fresh and young. I guess the point of these productions was not to come up with perfect plays, but to exercise our young minds, to imagine and create. It is this imagination that transported audiences to the kingdom of Verbania in search of the Adarna, and to Thebes to experience the tragedy of Oedipus. It is this creativity that transformed two long pieces of sky blue fabric into a gentle brook in sa kaharian ng araw, and constructed pillars out of string in Julius Caesar.
Thank you so much, Doc Ozzy. And when Sibolistas gather, there is always music and laughter. Many Sibolistas remember the comic geniuses such as Henry Totanes, Joji Quintos, Mark Macaventa, Edward Arandia, Emong Orlina, and Justin Aquino. But someone who casts a long, long shadow in the history of Sibol comedy is our next performer. And he also contributed an essay in Alalahanin. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mel Garrido of Batch 1987.
Sa lugar naming ito, di magkakapareho, ngunit sa aming mundo, pagsasama'y totoo.
Hello, Sibolistas at Siboleros! At magandang lalaki po ako sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Mel Garrido, Dulaang Sibol Batch 1987. And like a lot of us, I had so many beautiful memories of Dulaang Sibol. You know, the first thing that comes to mind about Dulaang Sibol is about prayer. When I was a sophomore, gabi-gabi po, sabi ko, Lord, sana po, gawin naman po akong bida ni Mr. Pagsy. Yan po ang lagi kong pinagdadasal. Then, eto na, Mr. Pagsy announced that we will be doing the musical Adarna and excerpts of the young Horacio de la Costa. So there I was praying every night na maging bida, and I was inserted as coro and doon sa choral recitation. Then it came to me that Sibol was teaching me the value of acceptance. But later that year, the Lord answered my prayer. Our seniors were going to do pugad ng mga anino at ako po ang bida. Ako ang anino. Yes! Alam nyo, nung natanggap ako sa Dulaang Sibol, naku, ang daming nainggit sa akin. Paano kasi sa Dulaang Sibol, ang daming gwapo. Hindi nila matanggap na bakit yung isang katulad ko na-accept doon. Kasi nung natanggap ako sa Dulaang Sibol, ako lang ang kakaiba dahil ako lang ang super gwapo. Tsaka yung mga yung inggiterong yan, minsan kumakain ako, kinumpronta nila ako. At ang sinabi ko sa kanila ay ganito.
Hath not a handsome man eyes? Hath not a handsome man hands, ears, organs, dimensions, fashions? Fed with the same food during Yahweh's, warmed and cooled in the aircon room. If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? And if you mock our hair, do we not die? And if you wrong us, shall we not revenge?
At dahil doon, tinigilan na po nila ako. Sibol also taught me about generosity. Sabi nga ni Mr. Pagsy, you have to be generous to a fault. Kaya ginawa ko po, nag-volunteer ako. Sinabi ko, sir, ako na maglilinis ng bathroom natin. So pagdating ko po doon, naalala ko that there are people that Sibol needs. And there are people that need Sibol. Kaya nung nakita ko yung mga sophomores, hali kayo, linisan nyo to. You need this. I was so generous that time to give and not to count the cost. Sibol also gave me a chance to serve. Ako pong Mr. Food noon. Kaya, bago po natin ihain ng food, syempre, baka may lason, titikman ko muna para malaman. Ayun, so pagkatapos ko matikman, sinaserve ko na po sa kanilang lahat. And lastly, Sibol showed me the way on how to be intelligent. Totoo po yun. Sabi nga po nila, pag sumama ka sa matalino, tatalino ka. During my time, tatlong klase lang po. 3 klase lang ang Sibolista. Yung magaling sa math at yung hindi magaling sa math. Kaya nga, sumama ako at talagang nagpanggap na matalino. Lagi po akong sumusunod sa mga sinasabi sa akin. Kaya nga sinabihan ako na matulog na maaga para lalo akong lumakas. Kaya po ako tumaba. Kasi sabi nga nila, early to bed, early to rise. Kaya eto na po ako ngayon. Pero kahit na ganito po ako ngayon, alam kong pinagpala ako. Dahil kami pong matataba ay pinagpala ng Lord. Alam niyo kung bakit? Nakasulat po yan. John 3:16. For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son. Anyway, all the while, I thought Sibol needed me. But it was the other way around. Because whatever I accomplished in life, it is because of Sibol. Sibol happened. Well, to recap, 5 things that I remember Sibol taught me: prayer, acceptance, generosity, service, and intelligence. That is why every day I live to be Pagsy. Thank you for all the memories.
He's so funny! Tumaas tuloy yung views natin, tsaka yung likes. Miss Meg, did you see Mel when he was a student, when he was performing?
Oh, yes. Oo. Actually, when I was a young teacher at the high school, mahirap, no, magturo na bata pa, kaka-20 ko lang noon. And it was really difficult adjusting to the system. But you know, itong si Mel Garrido, isa sa mga pakalat-kalat na bata I've never seen him yet in Sibol, pero nakikita ko siya pakalat-kalat sa campus, making everyone, alam mo yon, parang siya talaga yung jester sa buong campus. Parang he's another image of an Atenista. So sabi niya kanina pinagpala, 'di ba? Actually, kami as young teachers, we considered him as one of our blessings in the campus kasi nga parang ang saya-saya sa Ateneo because of him, no? Hindi ko alam kung nag-aaral siya o nagpapatawa lang talaga siya sa mga tao. But
You
thank
know,
you, Mel, for making our lives better in the campus because of your
Thank you, Mel.
humor.
super,
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you, Sir Mel. And really, the Sibolistas, these gentlemen, have been bringing joy to teachers and to fellow students in Ateneo and to students outside of Ateneo as well. No? And these are the gentlemen that girls from my school and other exclusive lady school would go to see perform. No, Bong. I mean,
That's
when
true.
did the girls start coming in?
Yeah, well, Sibol always had to import girls from Merino, such as yourself, Missy, for the lady roles. But of course, there were always students from schools such as Merinol, Poveda, Assumption, who would come and watch the plays, and they are among the the brightest memories of Cibulistas. When
Of course,
the
there's
school
also St. Teresa's and
St.
St. Bridget.
Teresa's, and many other, yeah, St. Bridget, because they would come, kasi they would visit. And Sibol was a bit of medyo sikat kami sa girls' schools at the time. And I'd like to tell our those audiences that we enjoyed watching you as much as you enjoyed watching us. Um, Today we have two of our guest performers in Sibol who have performed the important female roles that the guys couldn't perform. One of them will be singing for us this morning. Paula Deles played Celia in Doon Po Sa Amin, and she was the lead in Sinta. Today, Paula will sing for us a song by Mr. Pagsi and Tito Lopez, a song called Oyayi, and she will be accompanied by Toto Serioso of Sibol Batch 96 and Baroque Gutierrez, Batch 96. And this song will feature the quarantine babies of Sibol alumni. This is lovely. Thank you for this, Paula. And after Paula, we will be hearing from our host herself, Missy Maramara, who is an acclaimed theater performer. I saw her as part of the audience, and I cheer when people cheer for Missy because she's just so excellent as a performer. And I saw her in Stop Kiss, Stage Kiss, and The Dresser. And not just as an actress, but as a director. Missy directed Spring Awakening of Blue Rep, which some people say was even better than the Broadway version.
Wow.
And in Alalahanin, Missy tells us how it all began. So take it away, Paula and Missy.
Punso, matulong na, ipigit mga mata, aking bunso, umimbing na, mangarap na, mangarap pa. matulong na ipigit mga mata, aking puso humihiling na, mangarap na, mangarap pa. Habang yapos ng iyong ina, nayakap ng iyong ama, habang likas sa pangamba, mangarap na, mangarap na, mangarap na, aking bunso matulog.
Hi, I'm Missy Maramara. I was part of Dulaang Sibol in 1997, 1998 as Lady Macbeth in Macbeth, and in 2001 to 2002 as Queen Gertrude in Hamlet. Both plays were directed by Mr. Pagsy, and it was such a tremendously wonderful experience. So when they asked me to be part of this book, Alalahanin, I was so excited and more than honored and very, very happy to share that experience. So here's a little excerpt. It is 1997. Mr. Pagsy is 70 and I'm 17. He is a legend who teaches Shakespeare and theater to the boys across the creek with whom I play soccer and flirt at soirees. I am a tomboy who loves Shakespeare despite its scarcity from the curriculum of our secularized convent school. Word floats across the creek. Mr. Pagsy has not yet found his Lady Macbeth. There will be another round of auditions. Friday afternoon, I sit trembling on the house-left concrete steps of the little theater I had so often entered happily as an audience member. We are given 10 minutes to memorize Lady Macbeth's final monologue. What has got it into me? Other girls from other schools are far prettier and more feminine than I am. Why am I even here? Maybe it is my desperation to learn Shakespeare from a master. Maybe it's from the nudge of a Sibolista. Paliw naman si Lady Macbeth. Bagay sa'yo yun. Time's up, and we all sit in the front row, a foot or two away from the stage, while Mr. Pagsy sits at the very back. Between us, the Sibol boys. One by one, from house right to house left, we perform the monologue. I am the last of the girls to audition. When I step on the skirt of the altar that is the Sibol stage, I am gone. Oh, I only remember stepping off and hearing Mr. Pagsy's voice in the darkness. Very good, Missy. I am cast as Lady Macbeth. From here on end, throughout many moments of self-doubt in this industry I so love, Mr. Pagsy's voice echoes in my memory. Very good, Missy. He saw in me a power and agency I didn't see in myself. That he chose me, tomboy, athletic, not typically pretty me, meant femininity isn't only Celia or Sinta. Femininity is also ambition as it is vulnerability, grit as it is beauty, and always, always unwavering love. It is how one wields the power of a woman that makes one feminine and beautiful. If Mr. Pagsy trusts me, I have to trust myself. Thank you, Mr. Pagsy. Thank you, Dulaang Sibol. Love, always.
Sa kadiliman siyang
We're back.
tatanglaw ng batislaw.
Grabe naman kasi talaga si Ate Pau. She was truly the ultimate beg because she played so many lead roles in Sibol. I mean, and these are amazing lead roles, okay? Sinta, Celia, and I watched her a gazillion times. And I guess for every generation, there is the quintessential actor. Like, for example, the original Matanglawin who played Narding in the movie version of Sinta. Diba, Miss Meng?
Oh,
You were
yeah. Yeah, when I watched the launch last August 22, I didn't know that Nonong Reyes was Ariosto Reyes, because back back in my time, we were back in high school, we were swooning over him, not because of Sibol, but because we saw him in this episode of Lovingly Yours, Helen, na he played alongside Vivian Foss, na napakalungkot nung kwento, and that's where I remembered him. So I didn't know that he's an Atenean and a Sibolista at that. So
Yeah.
ayun.
Well, ako naman, I always knew he was a Sibolista because I met him when he visited Mr. Pagsy when I was in high school. And then he talked about his life in the US, his movie career, and he sang Alalahanin. When I was in high school, that was a very short period where there was no Sinta. I think that's the only gap period ng Sinta. So that was my very first encounter with Sinta ever, no? To hear Nonong talk about it and sing about it. So I think it's quite fitting because he was also the very first Matanglawin. Di ba? Of course, we know Nonong Reyes went on after high school to play many roles in movies directed by Eddie Rodriguez, Lino Broca, no? But he always said that his favorite director was Mr. Pagsy, and he talks about that. He gushes about that a lot in his essay, no? He called Mr. Pagsy, no, an actor's director. So I think we're very honored to have what is Nonong Reyes' last performance. Even though he had been he had been told that they could no longer treat his cancer. He insisted on reading an excerpt from the book, and he actually sings an early version, an unrecorded version of Alalahanin. So we will be watching that in a few moments.
Yeah, and after Nonong, we will have another stalwart of Stinta, the first ever Narding who has probably played Narding for the most number of times. This is attorney Jimmy Hofilenya, and he also has an essay in Alalahanin where he shares his utter disbelief that Mr. Pagsy would entrust the lead role in his new play to someone like him. Jimmy says that he was a gangly 14 years old who was the luckiest and most privileged Sibolista of all. This morning we have Jimmy singing Alalahanin, the theme song of a book and the theme song for the lives of many Sibolistas. So here is Nonong and Jimmy.
Ang gunita ng ating tagaraw sa kadiliman
Dulaang Sibol then, located by the rear entrance of the cafeteria, with the track and field on its side, was not impressive at all. It was slightly bigger than a regular classroom with makeshift lights. Having performed in bigger theaters, like the Cultural Center of the Philippines, Fort Santiago, and just even the Ateneo Grade School Auditorium, where our annual plays were held, Dulaang Sibol, I'm sorry to say, is a far cry. I could not imagine how a play could be mounted in such a small space. There was no such thing as backstage. We had barely about 4 feet between the backdrop and the wall. There was no dressing room, and there was only one powder room. In that backstage permeated the smell of athletes' food and a very pungent smell of a lot of residue from miscalculations to the toilet bowl. However, when Mr. Pagsi let go of his imagination, using simple materials like strings, cheesecloth, broken mirrors, sound effects from his children's cello-pipes, and a little stage makeshift lights, the entire place was transformed into an actor's den. Alalahanin ang tagaraw natin nang ikaw ay bagong taong mahiyain. Alalahanin at ang tagubilin sundin. Yan po mga kapwa akong Sibolista, ang awiting pinagmulan ng ating pinakaboritong dula, ang dulang sinta, isinulat ng ating pinakamama na si Onofre Pagsang.
Alalahanin, gunitain, kahapon natin sariwain, nang kay lumanay, agos ng buhay. Alalahanin, gunitain ng puso natin, wala pang galos, pangarap natin, wala pang galos. Alalahanin, gunitain, kahapon natin sa liwain ng batis lamang ang tumatangis at ang pag-ibig, anong tamis. Alalahanin, gunitain, kahapon natin sa riway.
All right, we're back.
Yes.
Memories of
Ay, grabe. As in, parang gusto ko maiyak. Ah, sobrang nostalgia kasi this brought me yung kanta ni Sir Jimmy Hapilenya. Actually, I used to call him Kuya Jimmy. My first play ever, the first play I watched in my when I was younger, 'di ba? In my first 12 years of my life was actually Sinta, no? And siyempre nanenervyos ako ngayon kasi ang unang-unang tapa ko sa Sibol was when I was 12 years old back in 1978. I can't remember what month. So, posible February. And the very first actors that I saw in Sibol were Jimmy Hofilenya and Stella Pagsanghan for Sinta. But during that time, hindi ko naintindihan yung kwento. Kasi I was just so in awe of the fact that I was in Dulaang Sibol. And everything was new to me kasi that was my first stage play, 'di ba? So hindi ko alam kasi sa public school wala naman kami pinapanood na stage play and all. But this very very important occasion happened first ko na stage play because of two great people I've met in the Ateneo High School. And these two people had the heart of Jesus and had the heart for the underprivileged. So I'm talking about Father James O'Brien, the founder of the Tulong Dunong Scholarship Program, who was my tutor in English literature. And Sir Pagsy, 'di ba ang sobrang swerte ko na ang tutors ko ng grade 6 ako ay no other than Father OB and Mr. Pagsy who taught me English grammars. I have to be very careful about my he taught me the entire book, sentences, and all the grammar rules and mga ganyan, And these two important people in my life, siguro in their desire to develop us and to expose us to so many things, brought us to that play, to Sinta, to Dulaang Sibol. So, ayun. So I've always sensed that Sir Pagsy, like Father OB, had this dream, to be able to extend the tremendous gift of quality education for underprivileged but deserving public school children who cannot afford to go to Ateneo or cannot afford to go to private schools. So the Sibol Hesus School Foundation, tama ba pagkaalala ko? Sibol Hesus, tama ba, Bong? Did I remember that right? Sibol Hesus. Kasi alam ko lang Sibol Hesus, but I didn't know that there's a school foundation there. So, this is actually Sir Pagsy's dream come true. And this morning, to speak for Sibol Hesus, we have Sibol alumnus, Jejo Jimenez, na dati pinapanood ko lang din sa Sibol at parang ang pogi-pogi naman itong taong ito, 'di ba? Batch 90, I think he's batch 81 of Sibol. So he's here, he's one of the members of the board of directors of Sibol Hesus and he's here to talk to us about Sibol Hesus.
In behalf of the Sibol Hesus School faculty, our board of trustees, and our students, thank you to the many people who made the publication of this wonderful book, Alalahanin, Our Memories of Dulaang Sibol, possible. Thank you to all of you who have purchased your own copies. As you well know, net proceeds will go to Sibol Hesus School Foundation for the benefit of the youth under our care. Thank you to all of you who have supported Sibol Hesus over the years. Thanks to you, Sibol Hesus will be turning 23 next month. So many students have learned under our very generous volunteer teachers over the years. One of our major moves recently has been granting scholarships to deserving students who pass Ateneo de Manila High School and St. Bridget's. We currently have 15 scholars. Of our recent graduates, 2 are entering Ateneo de Manila University, 1 is a full tuition scholar, and 3 are entering Ateneo Senior High School as full scholars. We are also helping our high school scholars to be equipped for today's online education needs. If you want to know more about Sibol Hesus School, you can visit our Facebook page, Sibol Hesus School Foundation Inc., which is also accessible to sibolhesus.com. Maraming salamat sa inyo.
Alalahanin, gunitain, kahapon natin, sariwain.
Our Memories of Dulaang Sibol is the first of a trilogy of books being produced by the Sibol Legacy Project. The second book is the collected works of Mr. Pagsy, his poems, stories, speeches, and plays, and this is under the editorship of Dr. Von Totanes, Sibol Batch 1990. The third book is the biography of Mr. Pagsy, written by Dr. Manolo Ocampo, Sibol Batch 1979, and it is based on personal and Zoom interviews from 2018 to 2020.
I cannot sing the silent symphony of starlight lured into your wistful eyes, the magic of a muted melody, stolen from some enchanted paradise. My piteous poems can never even trace the veiled Madonna of your dear, dear face. So why weave whirlwind words and listless lays about the angel gentleness of your ways? But what are poems and songs when our eyes meet? When hearts are full, they speak in silence sweet.
From the book Mr. Pagsy. At this point, Mr. Pagsy recalls how he was able to enter the Ateneo High School. Through the intercession of his grandfather, who knew the parish priest of Tondo Church, he was given a referral letter to the president of the Ateneo. Anticipating his son's meeting, his mother went to Divisoria to buy him clothes, the best Divisoria could offer. Coming from a disadvantaged background, he bravely went to the principal's office of the prestigious exclusive boys' school that had produced exceptional men like Jose Rizal, the Philippines' national hero. Without at the very least a familiar family pedigree and any credible means of paying the steep tuition at this expensive institute, he faced a Caucasian-American Jesuit priest, decades older than him. He was 14, alone, and waited to speak to the Jesuit president of the Ateneo. Quoting Mr. Pagsy, "I went to the Ateneo and I found out that that was not the way Ateneans dressed. So I went to the second floor and opened the big doors, and there was this priest behind a very big table and I was shaking in my shoes. I had just graduated from public school and was already enrolled in Arellano High School near the house. So the priest asked me why did I want to study at the Ateneo, and I said I wanted to speak good English. I suffer by comparison with my wealthy cousins. Nothing like I wanted to learn about Ignatius because I had no idea who Ignatius was. The priest was a kindly man, and he must have been amused by this very brave boy from Cecilio Apostol Grade School whose ambition was to speak good English."
Kahapon natin, sariwain.
We're back.
Oh gosh. Wow. It's so exciting. I can't wait to get the 2 other books that follow this one. I cannot wait to complete that collection and really just jump into it, no? And really thank you so much to those who have bought and who want to buy, because this is for the benefit of Sibol Jesus and Mr. Pagsy's soft spot for scholars and how these scholars have succeeded over life to contribute to our society. It's absolutely wonderful. So thank you so much, everybody. Now, Miss Meng, you were saying something about crushes kanina.
Ay, Diyos ko, mabistuhan na ba to? Ibibisto ko na ba yung mga kaklase ko sa high
Sige,
school?
sige, bisin na.
Both from Merinol. Merinol pa yon, Missy, when you were there, or Miriam na?
It changed to Miriam while I was there.
Maghahalata naman tayo. Pero I think, hindi, di ba, yung one of the, kasi of Sibol, parang one of the, come-ons of Sibol, parang yung, pag ino-audition ba sila, dapat mga gwapo talaga yung mga, kasi parang napakadaming gwapo sa Sibol nung lalo nung panahon ko, 'di ba? So, sabihin ko
up to now. Throughout the years, yeah.
Oo. Yes, parang 'di ba? But then, 'di ba, sa umpisa yun yung magpapapunta sa iyo doon. Tapos ang hirap-hirap kumuha ng ticket, 'di ba? Ang hirap-hirap kumuha ng slot. Pero swerte ko lang kasi nung umpisa nga si Father Ubi and Mr. Pagsy brought me there, so libre, 'di ba? Good seats pa. And then I became a teacher at the high school, so libre din ang ko, 'di ba? Libre din ang nood ko sa Sibol. Pero back during my time nga, parang parang Diyos ko, kadaming pangalan talaga na lumalabas na ang gagwapo ng mga actors, di ba? But later on, you realize na it's not just because they're guwapo or good looking, pero sobrang pogi points talaga na they sing, hindi sila masayaw, hindi masayaw ang mga sibolista, di ba? They sing and they can act and they can talk na parang pare-pareho nga yung tunog nila. But if you're a viewer, that's what you see lang di ba? If you're part of the audience, that's what you see, how good they are at acting and singing and delivering their lines. But for someone, yabang ko talaga to parang yabang rights ko to na because I'm inside the community, I'm inside the campus, and I'm a teacher there. So nakikita ko how sibolistas train, how they dedicate themselves and how much they sacrifice to stay in Sibol. And Mr. Pagsy is a personal friend of mine, di ba? Dati tutor ko lang siya, pero sobrang I can proudly say, I can confidently say that he's a very good friend of mine, my mentor also, and my second father and all. Nakita ko kung paano yung Sibol, noong una nga parang tatawa ba, kulto ba yan? Parang, is it a cult yung Sibol? Kasi mga estudyante ko, kung last period ako ng klase, bago mag-bell, parang alis na sila to go to Sibol. Alam mo yung ganon? Parang, teka muna, hindi pa tayo takbuhan na sila sa Sibol. Parang, what is it there in Sibol? And then, nung nagkaroon na ako ng mga estudyante nga ng mga Sibolistas, maririnig ko yung mga Yahweh, yung mga basta may mga terms sila na ginagamit na parang very exclusive to Sibol. Like, ano ba yan mga yan? And then they would explain to me, ma'am, meron kaming pag may birthday, parang may birthday shower, tapos meron silang mga prayers, meron silang mga manwalya, parang, so hindi lang kayo nag-act dyan na nagme-memorize ng lines and all. So they have all these mga formation activities that of course were designed and thought of by Sir Pagsy. So tama yung sinabi sa umpisa nung launch na it's actually a formation house. Parang facade lang yung it's a theater group. It's actually a formation organization.
It really is.
Yeah, so kaya
all things.
Sobra talaga. Kaya sabi ko nga, parang iba rin yung training pala talaga dito sa Sibol. And I've always wondered, kasi ang dami ng generations of Sibolistas, di ba? And I don't know what has happened to them. Yung mga naging estudyante ko, medyo alam ko, I have an idea. Pero yun nga, I wonder what or if Mr. Pagsi and Sibol had been effective in forming the Sibolistas. Kasi ba, I wonder, wherever they are in their lives now, where life has brought them, parang ang question ko, siguro as a teacher also, yung aking teacher heart, parang what is it that they have learned from Sibol that they have carried with them in their lives na talagang nakatulong at hindi lang acting ganon, parang what is that particular thing that they have learned from Mr. Bagsi and Sibol that has helped them navigate through life, diba?
That is such a beautiful question, Miss Meng. And for the Sibolistas who are watching this live streaming right now, if you can put your answers in the comments below, that would be wonderful. So, Miss Meng's question is, what about being a Sibolista have you carried throughout your life, and how has it seen you through? So if you want to answer, please put it in the comments below. That would be amazing. Now, Miss Meng.
Yeah. Teka muna, special shout out pala kasi, well, incidentally, the copy that I have, I did not buy this, pero I really want to buy to help Sibol Hesus. I want to give back also. But this is a very special copy because this was given to me by the Lopezes, Tito Lopez. Isa yan sa mga crush ng bayan nung high school ako.
And top 100 lawyers.
Yeah, and yun na nga, kasi parang yung tanong, parang Tito, paano kang nakasama doon sa top 100 lawyers? Kasama ba yan sa training mo sa Sibol? Kaya you got there. And syempre, hi to Gigi Lopez, the beautiful wife of Tito. Thank you so much.
And since we're doing shout out also to Joey Valdez, who has been actively commenting on today's program. Thank you so much for engaging us. It's wonderful to hear from you. Yes, and we're also looking forward to volumes 2 and 3. Yes, Bong.
Yeah, can I just pick up on a point that Meng said? Yung pagkakulto kasi ng Sibol. I think when I was in high school, ganun kami, right after when the bell rings, diretso ko kagad sa Sibol kahit na 4 o'clock pa yung call time namin. When your class finishes at 2:40, diretso na kagad for a lot of people, no? We've always been asked parang kasi Sibol parang medyo exclusive I mean hindi medyo, talagang exclusive yung Sibol. There were in our batch there were only 12 or 14. So Sibol was intentionally small because as Mr. Pagsi told us, mahirap mag-train, mahirap mag-form ng tao. You need to invest time and energy and heart into the formation of Sibolistas. And Mr. Pagsi being all by his lonesome, he says that I can only handle 12 or 14 from each batch. And then these people will have to be talented, of course, in arts and theater and music, but at the same time, they should also be people who have something more to offer. And so all of the Sibolistas and Siboleros who are listening now can probably attest how we are also honored that we were chosen during that very, very fertile and sensitive point in our lives. We were selected to be part of this group called Dulaang Sibol, and yun, not just theater but more important, formation of young men into men for others, into Christ with a small c, and we have to thank Mr. Pagsi for that. And I'm glad that
women too.
And
now women
and
also.
women too, of course. Yeah. And Ali and Missy and Gian Abrahan, who are now the moderators of Dulaang Sibol, are taking on that legacy into the future. So good luck, Missy, Ali.
We were joking so Mr. Pagsi was one, and then after him was Nico Ralionza and Romar Chuka. Right, they were 2. So ngayon, after them, we are 3.
Yeah.
Pabigat yung because it's really a tremendous responsibility, and we appreciate the alumni who are reaching out and offering guidance and giving input, and projects such as this is so inspiring to the Sibolistas. You know, they watched the launch last August 22, and now they're currently working on their lovely piece on Alay kay Maria, and they're organizing also the invitations with other groups. No, Ali, that's what's happening right now.
Yeah. Also to add, no, yung tanong kasi ni Ate Meg kasi ano yung dinala namin mula sa Sibol na hanggang ngayon, no. Sa akin baliktad, no. Parang although yung kaso ko medyo iba kasi nasa Ateneo lang naman ako. Parang paano ba akong dinala ng Sibol sa buong panahon na to? No? Sa laki kong ito, I think. Sa laki kong ito, dala-dala ako ng Sibol this entire time. I don't think it would have been possible. And when people ask me, kasi di ba the dream is such a big word. The dream is such a hard word. What is the Sibol dream? And I keep pointing people to the first sentence. The first sentence is, I dream of a gathering of friends. And doesn't everything real and important in this world begin with a gathering of friends? No? Even Jesus started with 12. And yun lang, I think that is it. No? To realize we are never alone, to realize that we do things better, faster, para more enduring because we work with one another. So, yun, it's very inspiring. Nakakatuwa rin ngayon na, di ba, parang nakikisali uli kami sa Sibol. Nagkukunwaring bata uli kami. Di ba? At nakakatuwa kasi
Theater Forever Young.
yeah, forever young eh. And it is forever young because we remember that Mr. Pagsy, people keep saying, di ba, sige, babalik ng konti. People keep saying kasi Sibol sa House of Formation, but people forget that Mr. Pagsy in the 60s and the 70s was already one of the most awarded and esteemed theater personalities in the country. But when Sibol started, he stopped, in a way. He stopped doing the outward work, the loud work, the public work. And he started with 12 per batch with a small group. Wasted his time listening to the concerns of little children. Wasted his time letting us do what we wanted to do. And now I realize how formative that was and how important that is. Without that, all
And
this
these
would have
people went out into the world and, carried on
and did the same.
that.
Yeah. I think yun naman yun yung galing sa Sibol na very, very inspiring.
Miss Meng, do you have other questions that you've always wanted to ask that have not had the chance to? This is your moment.
Yeah, because, sige nga, matanong ko nga to lang. Well, para siguro dun sa mga bata na sasali sa Sibol or yung experience, basing it on the experience of the Sibolistas. I noticed kasi na most of the members, at least in the earlier years, na most of the members of Sibol came from 4A, from the A classes, from the honors class. Diba? Tapos, iniisip ko, baka kasi influence nga of Sir Pagsy because usually, ang moderator ng 1A is Mr. Pagsy and then ang moderator ng 4A is Father OB. So, hindi ko alam kung malaking influence yon kung bakit most of the recruits are from the honors classes. Kung meron mang iba na member, siguro semi-honors, yung 4B, B class, kasi B yung semi-honors noon. So, and when I was already teaching these Sibolistas, I noticed na, syempre pag nanonood ka lang, pag viewer ka lang, hindi mo alam how much time they spend in Sibol. But when I became a teacher at the high school, I discovered that they stay really late at night, hanggang mga 7, 8, ganyan. As in, imagine from, if you end class at 3 o'clock, let's say, they stay in Sibol from 3 to 8 o'clock, ganyan. So, yung iba mag-overstay pa kasi we'll talk to Mr. Pagsy. So, that's mga, at least, at an average, 3-4 hours, tama ba bilang ko, a day. And that's daily ha, unlike other organizations na once a week lang nag-meet. So, ako, ang iniisip ko ngayon, parang, does it take a toll on your relationship with your respective classes? Like, diba, if you're from Sibol, you practically spend most of your time with Sibolistas. Kaya nga ang sabi nga parang elite group siya, diba, very exclusive. But you also belong to a class. So how is it like to be part of Sibol and to be part of a class? Na, parang does it take, parang parang may strain ba in your relationship with your classmates kasi you're missing out on a lot of activities also. I mean, you have to really sacrifice, 'di ba? So yan yung parang trade-off ng pagiging sibolista. You miss out on the activities of your classmates, of your other classmates.
And can I answer that?
Yes, please.
I think ano naman it's Sibol is no different from being part of the varsity basketball team.
Yeah.
Yeah, syempre, you can't, not everyone who wants to join the team could be a member. And you end up spending a lot of time. So sabi nga ni Mr. Pagsi, the choices that we make in high school are important and will shape us for many years to come. And luckily for us who made that choice to join and were accepted. So ganon, parang you really have to make sacrifices. Ako, in my own class, there was, some resentment maybe for other things that we couldn't participate in sa class activities because we were involved in Sibol. And I'm sure that people who were members of these yung COCC, yung mga cadet officer formation, ganun din naman yun eh. So I think the beauty of Ateneo High School is that it offers a variety of choices where people could see themselves and they could join. They feel themselves more inclined towards this particular pursuit. The Ateneo offered that to them. So sa amin lang to Sibol, sa mga Sibolista, I think um, we had to spend so much time. That's why Mr. Pagsi said that maybe we had to make sure that your academics wouldn't suffer. So medyo may preference nga siya for people who were stronger academically so that they could also balance. But yun nga, parang it wasn't a kasi in my batch marami kaming non A students din naman eh. So, but as I said, your question is valid talaga. Talagang kasi pipiliin eh. Talagang piling-pili kami, 12, 14. And so, meron talagang mali left out. And yun nga, talagang, ang maganda naman kay Mr. Pagsi, he doesn't apologize for his choices. He makes a choice and he will stand by his choices. And for all of us who were chosen, and who gave our time to Sibol and to Mr. Pagsi, we were all the better for it. So thank you again, Mr. Pagsi.
Oo, thank you talaga, sir. Alam mo, I also remember now how strong the influences of Sir Pagsi, and well, lagi ko talagang isasama si Father Obi kasi good friends yan silang dalawa. Tulong Dunong, the scholarship program, nauna lang siya ng konti sa Sibol Hesus, di ba? We have this summer school every year to train the scholars in advance in math and English. And you know what? Most of the volunteer tutors come from Sibol and 4A. So hindi ko alam kung, I mean, baka that's one of the effects also of being part of, not just a theater group but a formation group. So ayun, so I remember yan sila yung mga tutors, sila Kuya Henry Totane, sila Roda Santo, syempre special shout out sa kanila si Kuya Ray Miranda, yan sila OZ, yung batch nila OZ, Puruganan. I remember them teaching in the summer school for the Tulong Dunong Scholar. So, minsan nga nako-confuse na ako sa Sibol at saka sa TD at kay Father Obi at kay Mr. Patsy.
You would be happy to know, Miss Meng, na the current students of Sibol worked over the summer, even though they were in transition to online, and even though they didn't have a moderator. Over that period, they themselves got together over Zoom and organized a show, original material, everything, the script, the songs. They were the ones who invited people to give them workshops, ganyan, and then they came up with a lovely show which they used to raise funds for this Sorry, my words are failing me, Ali.
Sibol Hesus.
For
For
Sibol
Sibol
Hesus,
Hesus.
yes, and it was so beautiful. Sorry, I'm just getting so emotional thinking about it, and we want to share with you, everybody, today, the beautiful one of the beautiful songs that they did. We have been seeing presentations from Sibol alumni, and here is one from the current Dulaang Sibol, one of the 4 new original songs from Katha 2020, entitled Kata, written by B-Boy Pakulan and performed by Kaiser Cortina, Mayumi Crisostomo, Camila Del Rosario, Rafael Pakulan, Mikel Valencia, and Johan Villarta.
Kata. Ang definisyon nito ay tayong dalawa. Pwede itong tingnan sa mga matang romansa, ngunit ang nais naming ipahayag ngayon ay ang tayong dalawa ng mga magkaibigan. Sana sa aming presentasyon ay makita yung tayong dalawa na iyon. At yung nandito pa rin ako sa loob ng sakit, kalituhan, at bisyo. Mga kaibigan, inihanda ng Juka Yumifikohan, ito ang Kata.
Tumilat at nasilaw, patak ng dapit hapon, ibuntong hininga yung malamig na hangin. Kahit tagal na ng ating pagsasama, pero ngayon parang may naiba. Kaibigan, ano ang nangyari sa iyo? Ano man ang nangyari at mangyayari sa bisyo kung ano. Lakad pa tayo, kaya sige lang ng sige. Sasamahan pa rin kita kahit di ko pa kayang tuloy-tuloyin pa. Andito ako, hindi tayo lalaho. Ang dilim ay sumisilaw na sa mga mata mo, sa bawat patak ng mga likidong tinutungga. Baga ko ngayon ubong-ubo sa usok, pero nandito pa rin ako. Kaya sige lang ng sige, sasamahan pa rin kita kahit di ko pa kayang tuloy-tuloyin pa. Andito ako, hindi tayo lalaho. Sawa na ang aking mga mata na makita kang ganito, nahuhulog sa bawat hakbang, nabubulol sa sariling salita. Sige na, lakad pa, ubo pa. Ipikit ng mga mata, sama na rin ako. Sige lang na sige, sasamahan na rin kita, dahil di ko na kayang tumuloy-tuloy pa na gawin mong mag-isa. Kaya tunggana kata, 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 kata,
ang tumatangis at ang pag-ibig, anong tamis.
Well, what a beautiful video. Congratulations and thank you. Especially, syempre, special shout out ko si B-Boy Pakulan because he's my neighbor. Congrats B-Boy and friends. And Camila also. She was my student last year. So yeah.
You know, ma'am, they did all of this from their homes, no? So they were doing it right beside over the summer.
Sobrang nagulat nga ako when I saw the video last August 22. Parang sabi ko, paano nila nagawa yun? Eh, we're on lockdown, we're on quarantine. Parang where did they find the time? Ang tiyaga din ng mga bata.
Ang tiyaga nila talaga.
Iba yung mga bata ngayon.
Super. And they aim to raise 25,000 pesos for Sibol Hesus.
Yeah.
And they were able to
How
raise
much did they raise?
over 40,000 pesos.
Wow.
All on their own.
Congratulations.
So thank you. Sibol is carrying on the legacy of Mr. Pagsy, and look forward, please, everyone, to Alay kay Maria in October, and of course, to the 2 more books that are coming. But of course, please buy your copies of Alalahanin, our Memories of Dulaang Sibol. It is a lot of beautiful insight and a lot of wonderful memories that we can glean lessons from. So thank you so much.
The book is available, yes. The book is available right now on Shopee and Lazada. Just search Alalahanin and you will find the book. It's their courtesy of the Ateneo de Manila University Press. Yeah.
We have come to the end of our show, ladies and gentlemen, and we hope that we have piqued your interest about Dulaang Sibol and that you will support this book and the Sibol Hesus School by logging on to the online Ateneo University Press stores. Also, like Ali said, on Shopee and Lazada. And please buy a copy. The book costs only 800 pesos, and the proceeds go to the Sibol Hesus School Foundation to benefit underprivileged students.
Yes, and we would like to thank the Ateneo de Manila University and Jesuit Communications, JESCOM, for accommodating our launch this morning. Launching a book in the time of a pandemic is not easy, but through the help of a village, really, we've been able to pull it off. And we have received a lot of responses and emails from people saying how much they've loved and enjoyed the book. And it's very heartwarming for us who have been working on it to know that we have done something good. So we would like to share this book and our Memories of Dulaang Sibol with all of you listening right now. And we hope that you can get a copy on Shopee and Lazada through the Ateneo de Manila University Press stores.
So we leave you this morning with a special number, 2 songs about our nation from from two of our most talented alumni, no? Cholo Malilin of Sibol 87 and Lionel Valdeleon of Sibol 89, sing a medley of Sigaw ng Bayan and Alay Buhay.
Thank
So
you.
maraming salamat sa inyong lahat and
Maraming
Thanks,
salamat po.
everybody.
Maraming
Happy
salamat.
weekend.
happy
Thank you.
weekend.
We love you, Sir
Everyone.
Patsy.
We love you, Mr.
Love you,
Pagsy.
Love you, Mr.
Pagsy.
Pagsy. Thank you. Thanks again, Mr. Pagsy.
Kaibigan, iyong dinggin ang sigaw ng dumaraing. Iyon ang masdan at harapin ang mga hiyaw ng inalipin. Naroon sila silang mga piniringan, silang mga ninakawan, inagawan ng karapatan. Kaibigan, bigyan kalayaan, ang tinapos na katarungan. Nararapat ng matay buksan, imulat na ang kalooban, daing ba nila'y lalayuan, hiyaw ba nila'y tatalikdan. Tanggapin ang katotohanan, hiling nila ngayoy pakinggan, mga nalubog sa putikan, akayin silang binulagan. Kaibigan, bigyan kalayaan, ang tinapos na katarungan. Pilipinas, bayan kong mahal, handog sa akin ang may kapal. Panata ko't bitiing banal, dakilain ka't makitanghal. Tanggapin mo, kabataan ko, siglat-siglat ng bisig ko. Likha't liksi ng talino ko, pangarapin ng puso ko. Bayan ko, handog sa'yo, humingin ng diwa ko. O Pilipinas, tanggapin mo, alay sa'yo, buhay ko. Tanggapin mo, kabataan ko,
alalahanin, gunitain kahapon natin, sariwain ng kay lumanay, agos ng buhay, alalahanin, gunitain